Around 20 years ago, people around the world started displaying a range of special powers and abilities. With each year, the number of these cases increased. The governments of the world needed a way to organize and regulate these people. My name is Angus, and I work for the Superhuman Action Response Team. With my partner Sal, I help document these powered individuals and their exploits. Because heroes don't do paperwork.
Hey, Sal, are you almost done? We got to start the show soon.
Am I almost done
Yeah.
parenting?
Okay.
It takes a little bit of time,
Yeah.
maybe until Dex decides to move out. Here's a question for you. Are you almost done setting up your microphones, and can you help me over here? Because I have a bunch of fish goo all over me.
I mean, I'd love to, but I kind of left this week's podcast to the last minute. So, we got to, whatever. The stuff is recording right now. We need something. We need something for the show.
Swear by all that
you.
is shart, if you don't stop bringing up that fucking podcast, just go and grab one of the contraband podcast episodes from the pile, throw it on, and get over here.
Okay. Right. And we could use it as educational. We release an illegal podcast and we're like, don't make a podcast like this. That's a good idea. Okay.
Whatever justification gets this moving faster.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think I found one. We'll just roll with that, and then I will help you. I'll draw you a bath, and I will take care of Dex for a bit. Okay?
That actually sounds really nice.
Okay. Here we
Hello. From the sidelines of Super City, it is the crew without much to do. It's the Henchwarmers. I, of course, am Grunts Handman, and I am here with my co-host.
That's right. It's me. I'm Walter Mansson. It's good to be back with you, Grunt. Back in the pod. Back in putting the cans on,
Yes. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is, of course, episode 43 of the Henchwarmers,
yes,
where we connect you with all information you need to know that is hench.
That's right. This is a show for all henchmen, hench ladies, and hench people. We're all just here helping some bad people work through some shit.
And, Walter.
Yeah, it's Walter. Walter.
And Walter, I appreciate you bringing up the concept of hench people. It has been addressed by the lava monsters, the sentient bees, and of course the bricklayers, that maybe we should start incorporating the terminology hench things into our nomenclature.
I'll tell you what, I will acknowledge the existence of lava people and spider monsters and whatever else you said, but I will never, ever, ever acknowledge the existence of bricklayers.
Fair.
My father was killed by bricklayers, and listeners, I know you've heard this one a ton of times, but it's time to get into Walter's origin story again. The year was 12 years ago. I was walking down the street as a small boy with my father, man, and he was killed by a series of bricks falling down. And the bricklayers refused to put in that one integral line piece that would have cleared all the bricks away. And I had to watch my father die as 8-bit Russian music played. This was in the Tetris district, I should say. But, oh, God, it gets me teared up every time.
It is unfortunate, Walter, that your story is one of many in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Every
that's how I
day,
got into villainy.
Every day we lose so many to bricklayers.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why in the break room of the Hench Society, we do have a... what's the word I'm looking for here, Walter? We have one of those sheets you sign and you submit, and
yes.
Things happen because there's signatures on
request forms. Oh, a petition.
A petition. Thank you.
One.
There is a petition to ban bricklayers. No more bricks
We don't
laid.
I'm sorry. Do we build skyscrapers out of bricks? No, thank you. No,
No.
thank you. And
Whatever happened to wood?
Yeah, exactly. More wood buildings. That's what we want. But we're biased. We work for a fire-based villain.
Yes, Captain Crispy, of course.
Yep, Captain Crispy.
Captain
Sounds like
Crispy.
a hero. Not a hero. Definitely a villain, everybody.
Definitely not. The things he crisps are, of course, his foes.
Now, I've had the pleasure, because of, my condition, my power, I've had the pleasure of working with a bunch of heat-based villains. Captain Crispy, Magmore, Colonel Sanders. This is, of course, because I'm made of glass.
Yes, you are.
And I'm heat resistant.
You are a heat-resistant glass.
Yeah.
A little bit of obsidian in there too. It looks like
a little bit. Yeah. My mother was obsidian.
And your father is dead.
Was a man, like I said. I think my dad had sex with a window, and that's how I was born. And I became Walter Mansson.
I would appreciate if you went a little bit more into your power.
Yes.
Made of glass,
Mhm.
a traces amount of obsidian in there.
Yep.
Displaying heat resistance capabilities.
Of course. Well, I can also, I stand at just the right angle, and I could cause like a small fire, perhaps. Or if I can be really annoying at like crowd events. I can kind of like position myself and blind a couple people who are trying to see like a parade or something. Or what else can glass do? I can change the color of light if you shine it through me at the right angle. Oh, what else? What else does glass
You really
do?
do just appear to have most of the abilities of glass.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty much, yeah. Grunt.
Mm.
I know everybody's heard it 1,000 times, but I love hearing you talk about your power.
My power is, of course, rather unique. I do have seasonal effectiveness power, where each season my power changes slightly.
That's right.
Of course, now that we are in the summer, I have ears of corn. I have ears of corn, which allows me, of course, to communicate with corn of all types: popcorn, unpopped corn, stalks of corn on the cob, corn off the cob,
and I always miss this, but at the end of the season, the ears, they fall off, right?
They fall off.
Your regular ears sprout back up.
There is a end of season corn cookout that I like to host, where everyone is able to partake in my corn ears.
One of your 2 corn ears. I think that's just usually me and you.
Yes. Okay. We'll say we've had 2 attendees every year since the tradition started, and
that's true.
We're on track to have another successful turnout.
Well, since we're here, episode 43, I figured it'd be great to maybe answer a couple questions from our amazing fan base. Just so many. We're looking here at stacks and stacks of written letters. We got emails. We've got, I think there was a falcon in there somewhere. A message in a bottle. A few of those laying around. I'd love to, do a couple of these messages. What do you think, Grunt?
I always love to read questions from our fans.
All right. Well, okay, I got one here for you. It's for you. It says, "Dear Grunt, hope your spring ears are coming in just. Oh, no, sorry. Hope your summer ears are coming in just fine." Listener, I'm looking at them. I can tell you they are peak. They are just ripe yellow cobs
bursting with kernels.
This listener asks, "What happens in the winter to you?"
An excellent question. I have seasonal effective power, does transform once winter comes. Of course, once the beginning of each season comes.
Each season, yeah.
But
And of course,
for
I know
winter specifically,
them.
I do gain the abilities of slip on any surface. In
So,
the winter, it is common to see others slipping
mhm,
on ice,
mhm.
slipping on slick surfaces. I am granted the ability to slip on any surface, regardless of its frictional capabilities.
Now, I'm always curious about this. Is this because some kind of black ice or something like that forms between you and anything you touch, or do you just become slippery? Like, what does this mean?
There is an incredibly viscous fluid that starts to pour out of my feet
Okay,
pores
that's right.
that makes a very thick membrane of liquid between my foot and
And
the surface it's contacting.
for listeners and the people who follow us on Twitter, they've seen pictures of your feet pores, and those things are huge.
Porous indeed. Fun fact about the fluid that escapes my pores in the winter:
Mhm.
it is delicious over flapjacks.
Oh God, yeah! Give me a good stack of flapjacks and some good old foot goo.
Grunt
Mm.
goo for your flapjacks. You can, of course, go to gruntgooforflapjacks.com to request your bottle of grunt goo for
Well, and
your flapjacks.
we should say at the end of every winter season, you and I sit down for a nice meal of flapjacks and French toast and waffles and basically anything you'd put syrup on, and we use your foot syrup.
We
Less turnout for that
absolutely
one,
do.
admittedly, but still very good. Still very good.
My
Well,
butter tarts made with my foot goo.
oh,
Delicious.
and of course, that question was from Hench Wrench. Thank you, Hench Wrench. Love your letters. Hope your parents did
Ah,
well.
I've got a letter here for you, Walter.
Oh, ooh, what?
This one starts, of course, with your signature greeting.
Yes, of course.
Hopefully you can lead us in on this letter here.
Oh, yes, of course. Boing.
Indeed. Boy, yo, 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 Walter. I have a question for you. Have you ever had a situation where someone will run up to you and start breathing heavily on your surface to start making funny pictures or
Hmm.
words?
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm glad this one was asked because people have questions about my powers because, well, I am a man made of glass. Um, with a bit of obsidian in there, little bit of obsidian. And I have a lot of how do I put this, inconveniences thrust upon me while I'm doing my thing, and I would say people coming up and doing that thing where they go and they like exhale on me and then they draw something. They draw like either like a smiley face or a heart sometimes or some obscene thing. That is the second most common problem I have. The other one, and well, Grunt, you know this.
Mm-hmm.
I have about 3 to 6 times a day a bird will fly right into me and die, and it's a bummer. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. I'm so clear sometimes. I don't wear a lot of clothing. You all know that. I don't wear a ton of clothing, and so sometimes at the right angle, I look like I'm not there, and a bird will
Mm-hmm.
just fly right into my face or right into my torso and just snap its little bird neck, and God, I feel bad.
The mornings after your wife has given you a thorough Windexing are
Mm-hmm.
probably the
Oh,
worst.
yeah, I'm all squeaky walking around too. Oh God,
That was
Brenda, if you're
that
listening to this, I love you, Brenda. You complete me, Brenda. All right, love you, baby. I'll see you at home.
that question, of course, was from Cindy Hansman, no relation.
Oh, no relation. All right. Oh, well, I've got. This one seems to have come in a little chest. I'll open this up. Okay. All right. Oh, this one is directed to both of us. That's good. Hey, hench guys, question for you. Who is your favorite villain to work for? Of course, this question is from Michael Chickless. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. I hope you find your chicks so that you are
Yep.
chick more.
Yes. This is, I mean, you and I, we've both worked for a lot of villains in our time here.
Sometimes together, sometimes apart.
Of course, of course. That's tough though. There's a lot of things that go into what's a good villain to work for. You know, like I value different things. Like I love I like a good entertainment budget. But I feel like the Grunt, perhaps you've changed. Grunt is a bit more of a health care and whatnot. Benefits. You like those
Benefits
benefits?
are a huge factor for what Grunt looks for in an employer. At the moment, I would consider myself to be with my current villain as more of a stop, a layover, if you will, between more
Okay,
permanent
sure.
postings.
This is just until you get some stuff figured out and find
Get
out who
some
you
stuff
really want
figured.
to work
I'm
for.
going through a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Crispy is fine, but
Yeah.
there's far too many potential occurrences of someone's face being roasted off to prove a point. No, I seek a good boss is one maybe. I'm doing a little henching on the side, a little
Oh, yeah.
moonlighting.
Okay.
There is, of course, the sleeping entity, the beast beneath the waves, in Dexatron, glory to the highest, promising things such as higher state of being, um, ownership over the domains of man. These are all things that appeal to Grunt.
Now,
Um,
you never struck me. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you never struck me as the Eldritch type. That's kind of that's a very unique branch of villainy. In Dexatron, the beast that sleeps beneath the deeps is definitely classic, definitely Eldritch, otherworldly. What drew you to
Absolutely.
that?
Well, as you know, I used to be a big, just a absolutely huge into crimes against small families.
Oh
Families of
yes,
2 to 3 people at most.
yeah.
I
That
would
was your
always be
jam.
there on the front line, committing things like fraud,
Mm-hmm.
phishing attempts, identity theft, doing anything I can to make it so that the one child of these two parents had a miserable upbringing.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this is because you had so many siblings as a kid? You want to get back at kids that don't have siblings?
I think they've had it too good for too long.
uh, well, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. I gotta say, I worked for the high profile. This is kind of how I got started, but I always see myself going back there someday. I worked for Rex Goober Industries,
Mhm.
and that was all those candies they made, and I worked for him for a while, but it was just too corporate, Like so I'm over here with Magmore, and
Mhm.
Magmore is like, tight outfit, tight outfit, and then also a small group. Magmore's here. Magmore's got like 10 guys under him, and I'm one of those 10. And then I next thing I go and I think I hit the big leagues. I'm with this Rex Goober guy. I'm in Goober Industries, and I just become another number. I'm number 46039. It's like what is that? Like I'm Walter.
Yeah.
Walter Mansson, the man of glass. Okay? I am not just a man of glass, I am a man of class as well. And I expect to be treated with a certain amount of dignity. And I gotta say, working in those big buildings, just moving candy from one side of the building to the other to complete all my orders, I don't even get some kind of break. Not good. Didn't like it. Didn't like
The
it. So I quit.
songs you would sing with your fellow coworkers, though, were always fun. Whenever
That's
some
true.
misfortune would befall a
Mm-hmm.
visitor of the candy factory, you and your coworkers would sing a
Mm-hmm.
song highlighting the events of that incident.
Yeah. Doopa, loopa, that kind of stuff. I'm realizing now, though, I did start getting down on Rex Goober, and we were supposed to talk about the ones we liked.
Yes.
I just
But
can't.
it's important to highlight your bad experiences
Mm-hmm.
to make the good
Mm-hmm.
experiences all the richer.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm a hench guy. Down to the core of me, at least there's something wrong with me, So I'm going to take a positive, I'm going to turn it into a negative, That's just what we do. No, there's too much
Hmm.
good in the world. We got to, mess it up a little bit. But thank you for your question, Michael Chiklis.
Well, We could spend all day answering questions from our fans,
We certainly could.
but we do have some business to get down to.
That's right.
I know it is probably one of our more favorite segments. We will now be covering new job opportunities within the world of
Ooh.
henching.
This is exciting, everybody. Check
yes.
these job postings out.
The first job posting I would like to call attention to is, of course, Lady Danger seeking new minions to help her with her dangerous activities.
That's right.
Lady Danger is, of course, known for such heinous acts as moving construction signs away from the construction site, thereby making it harder for drivers to know when the construction site starts. Other rather famous incident was, of course, her string of fraudulent bike safety courses, wherein she taught children to not wear helmets.
That is a classic. That, honestly, that's some fine villainy right there. It's all about sometimes people are like, I'm gonna blow up the city. I'm gonna blow up the world. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna turn everyone into a flamingo in the city. Something like that. And I gotta say, it's a little ambitious. Not everybody can pull that off. But you start small and you say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure things are just a little bit less safe. And now I know what you're thinking, hench people out there. That's that's misdemeanor territory. That's mischief making. That's what do you call that? Rabble rousing? Is that technically rabble rousing?
That would be rabble rousing, yes.
I just want you guys to know that is how we got started. You and I were both rabble rousers.
Rabble rousers to the core back in the day.
Exactly. I dabbled in rapscallionry. And but that wasn't for me.
I tried my hand at murder, but I brought one extra person back to life.
That's right. And you can't mess up a murder more than accidentally doing a resurrection.
It was unfortunate it was spring when I attempted to murder them.
Oh, that's right. And as the listeners know, during the spring,
any person I stab is cured of all of their wounds and illnesses.
Yeah, and it is a stab. It's got to be a stab. He shot a guy once in the spring. That guy died.
That guy did die, yes.
He got infected and died. So you don't.
But I stabbed him right afterwards, and he was fine.
That is right. He came right back. So I just want listeners to, temper their expectations. Okay. I've got a job posting here. Here is a posting seeking hench people of any power type. They're asking for hench people above 25, or perhaps they just want some kind of experience there. But this is for the Crimson Otter. Does mostly river crimes. So if you're like a fire guy, you might want to avoid this. Water guys, get in there. Of course, the Crimson Otter, known for stealing, important briefcases, small safes, secure objects, and then smashing them on its tummy until it breaks them open. So, if you've got anything that goes well with that, maybe best apply there. But it is river crimes, and it is mostly theft. So, Crimson Otter, you know where to call.
Another one here. This has been one I've been following closely for quite some time. The Cardinal has finally made a decision on their theme, and they have determined that they will be fusing the two most common themes associated with their name. They will now be a Catholic bird.
Bird, yep. Yes, and of course they revealed this decision by releasing a bunch of colored smoke out of a chimney to allow everyone to know that this is what they're doing. I believe that's the thing Cardinals do.
Of course, for hench people and things that have been looking for a while to get in with the Cardinal, but wasn't sure. Well, I dressed myself up as a deacon. Would I fit in with a bird crew, or vice versa? I'm a blue jay. Why am I with a bunch of priests? Rest assured, whether you are Catholic-based or a bird, you can now work with the Cardinal.
And of course, we know there's a lot of Catholic-based villains here. So, feel free. Don't, get in there, But we should say, this is something we talk about, and I think it's maybe a bit more something I hold true. It could be because I'm just so transparent, but I believe a good hench person does not outshine their villain. You know, so I prefer these jobs where I can just be like, I got a uniform, it covers up everything but my mouth, or maybe maybe my head is exposed. I like to be part of something big. So that's going to lead me to our next bill posting here. Mecha Mind is a Mecha Mind has put out the call for all simple organic entities to come and join and be one with it. If that's your thing, I think that's a perfect spot for a lot of people. Note, you will have your humanity wiped away, and you will become part of a greater whole, but that whole will be villainous. So, dedicate yourself to that.
What better way to fill that empty void within oneself by becoming a part of a greater whole under the Mecha Mind?
Well, and that thing, Mecha Mind's got that warehouse over in the warehouse district. All you do is sit in a chair, they jam a cable into the back of your head, and there you go. You don't got to walk around. You don't get no sore feet anymore. But, that's not for everybody. But it pays well. Oh, that's the other thing. It pays incredibly well. You get 86 Bitcoins an hour.
Wow.
It's very expensive, correct?
Very. Oh, it is expensive at the moment. Who knows tomorrow?
We shall see.
There's one last call I would like to call to everyone's attention. This is a bit of a different one. Rather than it being a villain seeking hench people, this is hench people seeking employment. This is a cause I'm very sensitive to.
Of course.
The Flatmen are a group that for the longest time have had a difficulty getting visibility, and that is, of course, because they only exist in 2 dimensions at any given time. If you approach them from the wrong angle, it is entirely possible you will not see them because they don't exist in that particular cardinal direction. The Flatmen, of course, are known to exist in any 2 of the cardinal directions at any given time, whether that be X, Y, Y, Z, or my favorite, ZX. If you believe you could have any use of 2-dimensional flat beings, please reach out to theflatmen@yahoo.com.
You mentioned those cardinal directions. Perhaps they could link up with the cardinal.
Oh my.
Do
not let the cardinal know that there is a 3rd dimension to their theme. It can throw their entire process back months.
You're right. I think that's a great cause. There's a lot of unemployed hench people out there, and it's just such a... It's really the market for the villain right now. The villains can get away with...
It's a villain market, for sure.
It's a villain market. And thank you, though. We'd like to call out the League of Villainous Evil. We're big fans of the League here. We appreciate what you guys do in terms of hench villain relations. The union, of course, is a big deal. We're all Grunt and I are both union men. We're very pro. Hench
Local
union.
666 represent.
Right, local 666. Exactly. We want the best for those villains out there, even small time hench people. Recovery benefits for when they are knocked unconscious or hit with some kind of small projectile. That there's a lot of different things that happen. Hench people are some of the most mistreated people in Super City, aside from only the rich. The rich are the only people that have it worse than hench people. And so, of course, big shout out to the League of Villainous Evil. Thank you very much for looking out for us.
Well, Walter, we've had a lot of time together today to talk about affairs in the world of henching. I think now I would like to go into the usual last phase of our show, which is, of course, our motivational quote section. This is where Walter and I both read out motivational quote we might have found from this past week, and hopefully it inspires you to hench better. To start,
do you want to start us off, Grunt?
I would be happy to start. my motivational quote for this week is, don't be afraid to aim for the moon, because even if you miss, you're still likely to hit some planetary body someday and still ruin the lives of thousands of space-dwelling inhabitants. Don't limit
beautiful.
yourself to crime on one planet.
That's beautiful. You take a small mistake like missing the moon and you turn it into this. You know what? It's going to go there someday. It's going to keep traveling and it will ruin someone's day. And that's really what we have to hold on to as hench people. Of course, my favorite motivational quote for this week is, it's all in the details. And what I mean by that is, it's all in cutting tails off.
Detailing individuals.
Detailing. Thank you. You and I, we always talk about this. If a hero has a tail, they need it. So snip that thing off and, well...
watch them stumble around.
And of course, be careful for any gecko-based heroes. They generally can grow them back. But detailing, big deal in the hench world.
Well, Walter, I believe that's all for us here at Henchwarmers. I want all hench people and things out there to remember that you too can have an effect on this world, as long as you align yourself with someone's grander vision.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We are all but those little, what do you call those? The little fish that swim under a shark. You know,
Remora.
Remora. Ugh. Fell in love with a girl named Remora once. Wonder what she's doing. Brenda, I still love you. Don't worry, baby. But we are these little creatures, and we subsist off of the ambitions and the cruelness of larger things. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are a perfectly important and necessary part of hero and villainy. Because remember, everyone, without villains, are there any heroes?
An excellent point, as always, Walter.
Thank you.
I believe now would be a great time for your signature catchphrase to sign us off.
Yes. Yes. Doing. That's going to do it for us here, everyone, at Henchwarmers. And, well, we'll keep the hench warm for you. Thank you for listening. The ears are looking good.
Thank you. Did you know that corns are a bunch of gossiping bitches?
I did not know that.
Hey everybody, Angus here. Sal Bedfellow and Grunts Handman were both played by Matthew Whalley. Walter Mansson was played by me, Angus MacDonald. If you like the show or any of the other shows on the Podcavern Network, head on over to podcavern.com and check out our new merch store. We got lots of good hoodies, t-shirts, hats, stuff like that. Anything you get there sends a little bit of money back to us and it helps us keep the lights on. Thanks for listening.